You've seen all the glitz and glamour of pageants, but not what goes on behind the sash.
Hey y'all, it's Megan McCatherine, your new Miss Sagebrush volunteer, and we are here today with our first of our newest local tile holders for season 2, Izzy Siegle.
Hey everybody, it's me, Izzy Siegle. I am also known as Miss Sunset Volunteer.
A couple of questions to start us out. What is your serve project?
My serve project is called the Happy Hearts Foundation, but it's basically advocating for cardiac health and wellness and getting people acquainted with how cardiac health works, the importance of cardiac health, and how to improve it throughout your life.
So, what made you choose the Miss Montana Volunteer Organization?
I've always really been into volunteering, and I've always wanted to do a pageant. And my best friend Bryn, which you guys have already met, Bryn Sneidman, she's my best friend. She had done it for a few years and was kind of encouraging me, and I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do it. So I said, let's just do it, and I went full in, and I got to meet some incredible people, and it was such a fun week.
Yeah, it definitely was. We had a great group of girls this year. So, do you have any plans for your year with your local title? Are you kind of just going to take it day by day? Is there anything that you're looking forward to?
I have a few-ish plans. So right now, I am actually working with the Lions Club International, and I'm working on getting a membership with them. And I hope to promote the Miss Montana program as well as my own personal platform about volunteering. And, with them through their social media network. I also plan on hosting a couple different events where I can, have seminars talking about cardiac health and do some fun exercises and teach people some exercises that are simple but still work out your cardiovascular system in a way that's not damaging. That's kind of the plan right now.
Yeah, that's so awesome. So, why did you choose to take on a local title?
I chose to take on a local title because I feel like with a title there's more that can be done than just regular old me. People see, Isabel Sigley or whatever, and they're like, oh, that's great. But then they see Miss Sunset Volunteer, and they're like, oh, that's kind of something cool. We kind of want to represent that. So having that like local title helps represent the Miss Volunteer America program as well as my own hometown, and it gains revenue for myself and in my professional career. But it also gives a title to the community, oh, hey, Miss Sunset Volunteers coming to help out, so I feel like it's just, I don't know, cooler.
Yeah. No, it does give you like a leg up in a lot of ways. And I think that's something that's like so cool about it because even if they don't necessarily know what your title is because we have such like broad titles, they
Mm-hmm.
people still are kind of like, "Oh, like Miss Sagebrush, like absolutely we want you to come." And
Yeah.
it's so weird because it's just a title.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
Oh, yeah. Hey, quick question
yeah.
for you, Miss Sagebrush. I will be in Lewistown for the Choke Cherry Festival in September, and I plan on bringing my sash. And if you want to meet up, we can get some pictures together.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. But yes, I would absolutely love to do the Choke Cherry Festival with you. That's not, I was like thinking about it too. I was like, oh, like maybe I should or blah, blah, blah. But 100%.
Yes,
I
great.
am putting
Uh,
down some notes.
yeah, I'll be there on that Saturday because my family and I are going camping out by Crystal Lake.
Oh, I love Crystal Lake. It's so gorgeous down there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So, moving on from all that, what was your favorite part of pageant week?
Oh my gosh. Oh, there's just so much. There were so many good moments. Honestly, I really loved the movie because we watched the new How to Train Your Dragon movie, and that was such a good moment. But also, I loved dress rehearsals, and I liked the first song that we did, "Unstoppable" by The Score. That was such a good song, and it was just so fun, and it felt so powerful. And I loved my dress that I wore. So that was probably mostly my favorite part.
Yeah. No, 100%. The movie was so much fun. I felt like I was 5 years old again.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it was
I was
amazing.
getting like flashbacks to the first time I watched like the animated version, and I had that same feeling. And I was like sitting there in the theater, and I was just like, like
We're geeking out like children.
it was so good. This has just become an ad for the live action How to
Yeah.
Train Your Dragon.
Yes. Oh, but that movie's so good. It's so worth it.
It's so worth it. Well, and like I saw people kept on like dishing on it,
Mhm.
and I was just getting so annoyed. I was like, "You're going to ruin this movie for me."
Yeah,
And we
we're
haven't
not
watched
gonna
it.
let that ruin our movie experience.
Oh, absolutely not. Don't listen to the haters. That movie was phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right. So I know it's pretty early on in our years with our titles, but have you had any mishaps that's happened so far?
No.
No.
Mm-mm. I mean, like it's been what, a month since we've had the titles?
Yeah, it's been a
About
minute.
a month. So no, not really. It's been a pretty chill experience so far, and like I said, it's only a month in. Uh, but I am starting to try and gain a little bit of revenue with it. I wouldn't say there has been any mishaps, but there's been a little bit of like. So I work at a pool, and I work with a bunch of 16-year-olds, and I like put on my sash one time because I was gonna go take pictures and stuff of the sunset, and they looked at me like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you're doing that," and I'm just like, "Guys, you just don't get it, okay? You go win a local title, okay?" So I wouldn't say there's been a little bit of judgment because they don't understand the pageant system and everything, but it's been fun, and I'm excited for the year ahead.
Yeah, it's always so annoying when people do that because, like, even like I know ultimately my kids are going to look me up on social media or whatever, and I know it's going to get back to me some way, shape, or another that they're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm a stage first volunteer!" Like, what the heck? And I know I'm going to have to like take an hour out of my day with all of my classes and just sit them
Mm-hmm.
down and be like, guys, I'm taking out instructional time for this, but this is one of the only times that there is going to be a sit down conversation about this between us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's weird because it's like trying to juggle. I feel like I'm trying to juggle like two aspects of my personality. Like, I have my professional, like, I'm your teacher, but then I
Yeah.
also have like a local tower within the system. And I'm so glad that I have such a supportive administration. Like, they have been so chill about it, and they just asked me like, yeah, it's probably going to get back to your kids. Like, what do you have anything planned for when they ask about it? And I just said, yeah, this is what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. It's good that you have that plan, and it's probably hard because you are juggling two different aspects of your personality. Like I met you in your summer persona and your off school, your like not necessarily unprofessional, but just Megan mode. Not Miss McCatherine. I met Megan, not Miss McCatherine. So it is probably a little bit different, especially for the kids that can't really grasp that concept yet.
Well, and like the funny thing is, it's not like entirely different. I feel like I'm just more serious when I'm in my Miss McCatherine mode than I'm in
Well,
like my
yeah, you're a teacher. I mean, that's kind of you got to have that kind of more serious aspect of you.
100%. But the second we start doing Shakespeare with my high schoolers, I am acting a fool
Yes.
because it is required in my brain when you teach Shakespeare to be aloof about it, to be dramatic about it. Because what are you going to do? Are you just not going to be dramatic about it? That's boring.
Exactly. Exactly.
So they get to see that at the end of the year.
I love that.
So once again, very early on in our years. Do you have a favorite memory from your year as far as it's gone so far?
Yeah, so far, Bryn and I went out to the Lions Club camp in Red Lodge. So that was a summer camp that we went to when we were littles. You know, we were probably 8, 9, 10. We went there for about 3 years. So 8 to 10 or 11. It's just a really good place. And it was on my birthday, on my 22nd birthday. And we went out there and we took some photos and just got to reminisce on our past together and kind of promote the Lions Club a little bit, because that's kind of, you know, the place that sparked my love and joy for Jesus and being with the church and nature. You know, honestly, like, that's where I fell in love with the mountains and nature. So that's been a favorite moment so far.
Yeah, subject to change.
Yes.
Possibly. What is one of your favorite memories from pageant week?
Oh, partially probably the murder mystery dinner, because I had this giant foam turkey, because I was a caterer, right? So my character was this like 80s caterer, and I was poking around in the props closet at the college, and I found this giant foam turkey, and I was like, this has to be part of my costume. So I remember like coming out into the main lobby area with this giant foam turkey, and I'm like, dinner served, y'all! And everyone just looked at me, and we all just started laughing, and it was so fun. I loved getting into that character. It brought back memories of when I was a theater kid, so it brought back memories of when I did theater in high school.
Well, and that turkey never made it back to the prop closet. It just sat on the snacks
It
table.
did. It really did. You know, and it just was a momentum. I should have taken it with.
Smuggle out an entire foam turkey. Oh my gosh. Where would you
Where
even
would
put
I put?
things?
I would put this giant foam turkey on my kitchen table and just let it sit there.
That's kind of iconic, and I kind of want that now.
Yeah, so that was probably one of my favorite memories from pageant week, was this giant foam turkey.
Oh my gosh, too funny. So, are you thinking about competing again next year, or is it too early to say?
I really do, Megan. I want to compete so bad. It was such a fun way. Yeah, it was exhausting. It was probably, besides going to Europe, that was probably one of the most exhausting weeks of my life. But I could not have imagined having that week with those girls any other way. Like, I had my best friend beside me. I met a whole bunch of other super cool people. And I learned so much about what it truly means to be a woman, and not just this dainty, cute little figure. No, like the empowerment of being a woman, you know? And I got to look pretty, and I got to feel like a princess, and that was so fun. But I learned so much about myself, about others, and how to confidently be myself and have a stage presence, you know, and carry on that enthusiasm into my everyday life. And it is different because you have your pageant persona, you have your pageant, like, when you go on stage, you are just this other person. But I feel like I've carried a lot of those skills that I learned during pageant week into my everyday life. And I can say, and I'm confident in my body and myself, and it's just been fun. It was, I do want to compete again. It was a little disheartening, you know, at the very end, because we were doing 15-hour days and we were exhausted. We were literally so burnt out by the end. And, you know, we just like ended up sobbing at the end because we were just like so exhausted. We're like, oh my gosh, it's over. But it was such a fun week, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Yeah. So, do you have any like preparations that you're like thinking of looking into? Like,
Yes. So this next year, if I do decide I want to compete, and I am going to compete, I have a little bit of practice. I want to play Demons on the piano, Demons by Imagine Dragons.
okay.
I've played that a little bit, and I played the piano a little bit in the past, but I'm going to be working for this next year or so to work on that song and perfect it, and I'm going to use that as my talent next year. I'm also going to be looking into different dresses that fit my body type a little bit better, because the one that I got for this last year, the evening gown, it was beautiful. It was a gorgeous dress, but I felt like it didn't flatter my body personally, and I want a different dress that's going to do that, and just, all the other different prep, nails, hair, teeth, different makeup ideas, stuff like that is what I'm really going to aim to prep for this next year.
For sure. I feel like I'm kind of in like a similar vein where I kind of want to revamp my talent a little bit.
Yeah.
But I also want to find a new swimsuit because my current swimsuits, they're okay, but like I don't like them
You
as
just
much.
want something different,
Yeah, like I've had that swimsuit for 2 years now. Like it's
Yeah.
time for a new one. I need something that fits my personality a little bit more.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am. I loved the swimsuit I wore, but I feel like I want to go more for a two-piece this next year instead of the one-piece. That was probably the hardest part of the entire pageant, was being confident enough to go on stage in a bikini or a swimsuit, and it's weird, because I was a competitive swimmer for like 11 years, so I walked around parks and stuff in nothing but a swimsuit for, years, but it's different when you're on stage literally being judged for wearing a swimsuit, so
Yeah.
I want one that fits my personality better, that I can be more confident in, and walk onto that stage knowing, yeah, I'm this, I'm hot,
Yeah. No, for sure. And you kind of already mentioned it like a little bit, but what was one difficult part of pageant week?
Probably the sleep deprivation. I was exhausted that whole time, being home at midnight and, not having to like be up in the next 6 hours, getting all that done. But I definitely think it was probably being confident in my swimsuit and in my talents, because I have acted on stage before. Like I said, I was in theater for 4 years. I loved it, but it's a little different when you're doing a monologue, or like a solo monologue, and again, you're being judged for it. Like, it's just a little bit different. And then the swimsuit competition was probably just nerve-wracking to me, because I was walking around in like 4-inch high heels and in a bikini or in a swimsuit, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I've never done this before, this is terrifying, oh my gosh. So it was just a little bit scary going into that. And then, like, the last night, so Saturday, I ended up having a pretty severe panic attack, and I ended up having to leave the college for a little bit to go get my meds, and that was just because I had an anxiety attack. I don't really know what over, probably because I was exhausted and overwhelmed by everything going on. But it was, like, I will say it was worth it, but oh goodness, that was hard. It was hard to push through that and then finish pageant night after that panic attack, because when you have a panic attack, you get really tired afterwards, and you're just like, I don't want to do anything. So, it was really hard to push through that and keep my best persona up.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah, the sleep exhaustion is like no joke. I feel like you hear about it sometimes and you're like, oh, it can't be that bad. And it happens to me every single year. I'm
Mm.
like, it couldn't have been that bad. And then I get to pageant week and I'm like, no, it was that bad. That
Yeah,
was exhausting.
it was also a little hard, because I was staying with my best friend. Loved it. But one night, I can't even remember what night it was. I think it was Tuesday night. Um, Bryn and I woke up to this really loud crash in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
We're like, what was that? So we like went upstairs, and our host lady, she had fallen and hit her head pretty hard. So I'm a certified lifeguard, and certified in first aid and everything. So like my lifeguard instincts hit the fan like that, like it was just instant. But again, it's the middle of the night. I was exhausted because I had literally just gotten to bed an hour before. And we were up probably till 1-2 o'clock in the morning helping out with that and stuff, and that was just a little bit hard mentally, to have to go back onto stage and act like nothing happened while still worrying about, honestly, she felt like my patient, worrying about my patient, being like, okay, is she gonna be okay, like, what, did I do enough, stuff like that. So that was kind of running through my head a little bit for the rest of the week. She ended up okay, and she's doing well. But that was hard, having to get back into that mentality of, okay, I have to be a pretty pageant princess instead of my lifeguard self that was taking care of a patient that needed my help.
Yeah, I remember because we were riding together during pageant week, and it was real difficult to see y'all walk out the front door, and you looked exhausted, and I was thinking to myself, I was like, dang, like that's
Yeah, it was a rough night, but we pushed through it.
yeah, it ended out okay.
Oh yeah.
Flipping the script on that one a little bit, what was one of the funniest things that happened during pageant week?
Turkey. It was the turkey, okay? It was either the turkey or when we all got our ice cream and we were all comparing the like little eyeballs on the Powerpuff Girls on Bubbles, and we were all like comparing the eyeballs, and it was such a moment of us just being our authentic selves and being like, oh my gosh, this is so silly, this is so funny. And it was a lot of fun. Or when we were trying to figure out the other one was when I walked out on stage and I was kind of like in like the crab walk gremlin pose in my heels, and I was like, just trying to break the tension a little bit because we were exhausted and just tense with each other. So that was fun. That was a good moment.
Yeah. I also, like, you have such an expressive face, and I know that there is one photo that I got where you're just making, like, the dirtiest scowl, like, cartoon scowl.
Wait, was it?
Yeah. And I remember because I, like, turned around and I saw you making that face, and I was just like, easy.
Yeah. I do. I've been told I have an expressive face, and honestly, again, I do those faces because it's funny and it breaks tension and it gets people to laugh. Yeah.
So, next question. What is your favorite area of competition?
Even though it was really hard for me mentally, I still loved swimsuit. It was super scary and hard, but it was also really fun. I loved the music that they picked for us. I felt, just like upbeat walking to it. And it was a little hard because, you're like out there posing and you're like, yes, I'm in this swimsuit. Yes, look at me. But it is so fun because we all just get to like I don't know, we all get to express ourselves in our different ways, and it's probably the least stressful for me out of all of them, because interview is just stressful because you're like, oh my gosh, I have to say the right thing at the right time. Evening gown was like, I'm not a slow walker and I'm not overly graceful, so that was really hard to get the pattern down and to walk without tripping over my two left feet. And like keep my head level and just having the right posture and everything was like so hard. And I'm just like, this is not, I don't. And then talent, you're always worried about if you have the script down right or if you're gonna mess up on it. Yeah, everything has to be perfect. But with swimsuit, you can kind of just, if you make a mistake, nobody's really gonna know because they're so focused on other aspects of it, and you're walking upbeat. There's no like perfect pattern to do a swim walk in, and you just get to feel sassy. Mm-hmm. So that was probably my favorite area competition.
All right, so we are down to our final two questions.
Okay.
So first one is, what advice do you have for those who are thinking about competing?
Be okay with not winning. It can be a little tough, and it can be, but you have to understand that you are not doing this for the crown. Yes, the crown is a nice added bonus, but you are doing this because you want to genuinely help people. That's one bit of advice that I had to stick to. And also, there's no perfect body type. Don't worry about what you look like. All these pageant princesses or pageant girls always look like the same small blonde stick figure person, but that's not realistic, and be confident in your body. Your body is your body, and God made you perfectly in that. So don't be ashamed of that, but also get lots of sleep, lots of water, because you will be dehydrated more often than not, and practice walking in heels, because I had big flat blisters on both of my pinky toes because I didn't walk in my heels that much, and I was like an uncoordinated baby calf. So, Practice walking in your heels. It is so important, and it will save you so much headache when you are on pageant week and you don't have to worry about tripping over your feet because you don't know how to walk in 4-inch stilettos.
Yeah. All right. So, the, our final question, as you know, I'm very mental health based. So, what is one mental health mantra or habit that you try to live by?
Oh my gosh, I'm glad you asked that because I'm a really big person on mental health and I've struggled a lot with my own mental health. But one thing that my therapist years ago taught me was focus on one thing at a time. So I end up getting like really anxious about thinking about everything in the future. I have to plan this, this, and this. I usually have to break down my day into like maybe hour or two chunks, and I have to plan it out meticulously and be like, okay, you have this at 4 o'clock. Don't worry about that. Right now it's 7 o'clock in the morning. Focus on this bit. We can worry about this other bit later. And I apply that to my life in so many different ways. In school, I, get myself overwhelmed with studying and homework, and I'm like, okay, you can't do all of it right now. Let's do a little bit now. You can go take a break for 20 minutes, come back and do another little bit. Because if you keep adding on and not give yourself a break and not tell yourself to calm down, you will get overwhelmed and you would start to spiral. And I guess I have always lived by the motto, take one day at a time or take it step by step, because if not, I will get overwhelmed. I'll keep thinking of the big picture instead of the little pieces that make the picture.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's something that's been kind of running through the school too, because we had so many last minute changes that we all are kind of trying to catch our feet with everything, but everybody's just like, you gotta take it one day at a time. And our elementary teacher actually had like said something, and it's so funny. And she said, "There's one thing teachers and alcoholics have in common: we take it one day at a time."
Yes, it is true, and it is such a good life motto to save yourself from a lot of anxiety and stress. Because if not, like I said, your brain will start to spiral. And chemically, so a little bit of psychological neurology here. So in your brain, there's a part of the brain called the amygdala, and it's also referred to as your emotional brain. And when you start to overwhelm your amygdala with all these thoughts and all these things that you have to do here, here, and here, the amygdala gets overwhelmed and it actually shuts down. And when you can't process emotion, because that's the area of the brain that processes emotion, when you can't process emotion, it sends your body out of homeostasis, which is your body's normal levels of, function and stuff. It sends your body out of homeostasis and kind of puts your body into a fight or flight mode where you are literally just trying to survive. So, by taking out the overwhelming sense and taking out all those extra thoughts that don't need to be there, put one thought in. It's kind of like when you're overwhelming an outlet. You can only put so many things into the outlet before it starts to spark and malfunction. So, think of it like that. You can only plug so many things in. You need to be able to not overwhelm the circuit and know that a few things are better than nothing. So, that's why I always try to live that way, because I've seen the effects of what can happen when you overwhelm that amygdala and when your body goes into fight or flight. I lived like that for 5 years and I hated it. I was awful. So as I've gotten older and I've started learning more about myself and things, I've had to learn to be okay with not overwhelming the circuit and just putting in enough that I can handle.
Yeah. No, definitely. Well, that is all of the questions that I have for you.
Oh my gosh, well, it was so good to talk with you, Megan. I had so much fun doing this, and I hope this reaches the right people, and I hope that the right people can hear about this, because it truly is a wonderful experience. And I pray that every single one of you that listens to this will give it some thought.
Yeah, 100%. Even if you're like not in Montana or you don't choose a volunteer program, like pageantry in general, like there are so many really awesome programs out there that can fit you or fit what you have available or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's such an amazing
Yeah.
experience no matter which year.
It's worth it. It is so worth it. The exhaustion and the blisters and the pain is so worth it because it's just you meet some incredible people and learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah, you really do. All right. Well, yeah, that's all the questions that I have for this week. Every episode is going to go up at on the first Thursday of every month.
All right.
So this will be
Well,
the September episode, and I will be smack dab in the middle of teaching.
yeah. Well, I'm sure that you are more than able to do it because you do a lot of things and you are great at most of them. So,
always keeping me humble is.
always. That's what I'm here for.
All right.
All right. Well, it was so good talking to you, Megan. I will talk to you later.
I will talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.